Hey, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Pep Talk, the podcast where we give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us, God. We take all these interesting and sometimes crazy and sometimes complex health and wellness conversations. We make them real simple. We give you action steps and we give you information so that you can make up your own decision of what you should do with your body, with your family. And if you're a physician, like I know we've got lots of doctors that watch this program, you can share with your patients and have a happier, healthier patient community. I'm your host, Dr. Eric Naputi. I'm going to be taking you down this interesting conversation today on a topic that we've been speaking on now for about 20 years, but it's really making some major waves in the headlines now because of RFK Jr.'s potential appointment to the head of health and human services, his work in the environmental world, especially with food safety. Myself and a bunch of other healthcare individuals have been presenting information at a state and federal congressional level on certain food additives. And this one I want to talk today is about glyphosate. One of the reasons why I want to talk about this today is because we hear about glyphosate. We're actually hearing a lot about it from a marketing standpoint now. I'm hearing about it on the radio. We've got lobbyists and advertising organizations that are trying to propagandize individuals to think that, glyphosate is simple. And if we don't have glyphosate, which is Roundup Ready pesticide, on our food, then it's going to cause the yield to go down, which is going to cause the price of groceries to go up, which they're trying to tell you that the end consumer is going to have more of a financial burden than anything. I'm just going to tell you the data does not support those claims. In fact, if we go back to sustainable agriculture, really doing the right things to our fields, where we can actually get our nutrients back in our foods. I'm sure research clearly states that some of our fruits and vegetables that we consume have about 50 to 60% less of a nutritional density that they did even 20 years ago, let alone 50 years ago when we started doing these new techniques in pesticides, herbicides, largicides, and et cetera. So let me read some of my notes to you a little bit about glyphosate. It's one of the most widely used herbicides in the U.S. and really globally now. And by the way, the key ingredient was developed by Monsanto. Is a multi-billion-dollar product called Roundup. And glyphosate is applied to agriculture and to forestry and to some people's lawns and gardens and public and private landscapes. By the way, we now know that there are research and data that's not just correlative, but causative, that these chemicals can cause hormone disruptions in the body, which messes up our endocrine system, which leads to metabolic issues, which then can cause us to have all kinds of chronic inflammatory issues, autoimmune issues, and there's carcinogenic, yes, cancer-causing properties in humans, okay, for this compound. And by the way, the classification from the International Agency for Research on Cancer in 2015, the National Pesticide Information Center estimates more than 750 products containing glyphosate, and the International Agency for Research on Cancer says that the probability of it being a carcinogen is extremely high, let alone the fact that the FDA, has approved it and says that trace amounts of it are in thousands of products today, including cookies, crackers, cereals, chips, breads, and much more. So let's talk a little bit about this chemical. I want you to understand that we live in a world where we're exposed to literally thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of chemical toxins every day in the food we eat, the water we drink, the air we breathe, all the EMF that's in the system. These are cellular disruptors to our body, which can lead to problems. I mean, we've all heard the stories of growing up living under power lines, of how that can cause cellular dysfunction, ultimately lead to cancer and other diseases. Well, we now know that certain pesticides, larvicides, fungicides, and herbicides can do the same, if not worse. So what if I told you that the food that you were eating, that you're feeding your children and all these things could be causing diseases, not just cancers and autoimmune issues, but what if they caused neurological disruptions? What if they caused ADD symptoms or ADHD symptoms or other neurological problems that are out there? I want you to question that. Now, I want you to make up your own mind of what you should do for yourself or for your family. But these are not just chemicals. These glyphosates and astrazenes and these other chemicals that are out there, I really think that they're weapons. because they cause us to be fat, sick, and nearly dead. And the food industry is feeding the drug industry and vice versa. And that's the conversation that's happening globally right now. It's not just a few people talking about it. It's a global conversation that now RFK Jr. has brought to the global spotlight of saying, hey, there's a problem. It's okay to question these things. And what are the solutions? Because we can't keep going down the same road that we've always been down. So let's talk about this. So glyphosate is the main ingredient in Roundup. Okay, it's defined as a broad spectrum herbicide used in GMO and non-GMO crops. Originally patented as a industrial pipe cleaner, by the way. Think about that. Originally as a industrial pipe cleaner, now classified as a carcinogen by the World Health Organization, but still pushed as safe by the U.S. agricultural organizations. By the way, that's going to be changing very soon as well. I want to tell you about something called atrazine. Atrazine is one of the most widely used herbicides in America. It's banned in Europe right now. You can't use it in Europe due to its environmental and its health risk. In fact, atrazine is an endocrine disruptor, meaning that it interferes with hormones, primarily testosterone, lowering testosterone in men and women, causing estrogen dominance, which leads to hormonal and estrogen type cancers, and it leads to other issues with low testosterone. Testosterone is one of the vitality compounds, hormones in the body, if you will. And in 2002, UC Berkeley did a study, and they determined that male frogs turned into female frogs after they were exposed to low levels of atrazine that's found in the drinking water in the US. Now, why is that important to know? Because we use animal studies to see how it's going to affect humans. We're not doing human trials on atrazine. We're not doing human trials on glyphosate either. And I'm going to tell you, there are some genetic predispositions, people who have methylation problems like MTHFR gene imbalances, COMT gene issues, all these other problems that people have. If we don't deal with those properly, and you have atrazine and glyphosate in your system, you may very well be seriously toxifying your body and causing cellular damage. A lot of times people know that they can't eat GMO foods if they have an MTHFR gene imbalance. And a lot of times people have a gluten intolerance. And we're finding now that it may not be the gluten as much as it really is the glyphosate that people are having these sensitivities to. So think about these health risks. So glyphosate acts like an antibiotic, and it kills the beneficial bacteria in the gut. Listen, we talk about healthy bacteria, healthy gut probiotics and prebiotics and postbiotics. And even Hippocrates thousands of years ago said, first fix the gut and everything else falls into place. Well, glyphosate causes and contributes to leaky gut syndrome and dysbacteriosis and dysbiosis, destroying the immune system, causing cellular inflammation and other adaptive physiological responses that can lead to other adaptive diseases. Listen to this. It's linked to leaky gut and other autoimmune issues, leading to food sensitivities and chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation is the root cause of most problems people have. Listen, it interferes with the body's ability to detox. It causes toxic buildup in the organs of the body, primarily the kidney, the liver, and the intestines. Glyphosate can also, listen to this, glyphosate can also lead to skin conditions. If your skin is not detoxifying properly, then folks, it could very well be that you are having too much of this glyphosate in your system. By the way, a recent lawsuit that was Monsanto, formerly Monsanto, now Bayer. Bayer came in and bought Monsanto because Monsanto has negative brand equity because of all these class action lawsuits and the lies that they have admitted to telling people that, hey, this is safe and effective. Where we heard that before. Monsanto, now Bayer, has paid out billions of dollars with a B in settlements for glyphosates causing non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, a form of cancer in the body. I mean, this is really crazy. And you need to understand that glyphosate sprayed on Roundup Ready food, wheat, soybeans, corn, etc., destroys the soil health, depleting minerals in the body. Minerals are necessary. When I was going through school, I learned that mineral deficiencies lead to most chronic cellular and metabolic diseases. So if we want to prevent and help our body heal, from problems, we've got to have minerals. Glyphosate is destroying the minerals in the soil and the minerals in your food. If you're not supplementing with minerals, there's no way you could possibly be getting enough of them in your body. These chemicals, also are contributing to bee colony collapses. And there are documentaries out there that shows that if we lose the bees, the global pollinators of the world, we're done for as a society. This is one of the reasons why a lot of people are theorizing that we're seeing an increase in allergies and food sensitivities because of the exposure of this glyphosate, low minerals, and destroying the bee colonies. So who's behind all this stuff? Monsanto and Bayer and the EPA are behind this. And we know that there's been a revolving door between the EPA and other three-letter government agencies and these big food industries and these big chemical industries and these big drug industries for decades. So there's massive conflicts of interest by many of the regulatory bodies. Many studies on glyphosate that showed safety were paid for by the chemical industry. The people who actually put those studies out are the people who benefit from telling you that they're safe and effective. Farmers are forced into this toxic cycle where they're forced to use these chemical products. They can't afford not to utilize these seeds. And the solution is real simple. I mean, we can detoxify from glyphosate by, number one, not consuming it. We have to stop consuming it. Using things like binders and detoxifiers. There's a formula we use called Detox Pro Plus that has zeolites in it, activated charcoal, fulvic and humic acid, and shilajit. Those will pull these toxins out of the body. Doing liver cleanses and eating non-GMO organic vegetables, dark leafy greens and vegetables of all colors, and berries are very beneficial. Drinking clean water, at least 60 to 70 fluid ounces a day of clean water, green teas, and etc. Also, sweating, getting your body moving and sweating so it can detox and purge some of these chemicals out. It's very powerful to do that. Eating sulfur-rich foods like garlic and onions and cruciferous vegetables are very detoxifying and cleansing as well. Using things like chlorophyll and spirulina. Spirulina is a very powerful detoxifier. Chlorophyll helps with the photosynthesis and production of certain compounds into energy in our body that helps detoxify. Sauna therapy, like I talked about, sweating is another powerful thing. And man, avoid exposure. Buy organic. Better yet, try to get locally sourced farm products. Make sure that you have a high quality filter on your water system that removes atrazine and glyphosate from there. These are things like, reverse osmosis or hydrogen infused waters can help with that. And support farmers. Support them from transitioning from, I grew up on a farm. I remember 25 years ago when Roundup Ready beans came out. I remember sitting on the planter when we were planting the crops, and the rep from the sales organization we bought our beans from said, don't eat those seeds. Whatever you do, don't eat those seeds. I'm telling you, they're not healthy, they're not safe, and they're not good for you to eat. I remember as a kid going, why are we planting these for our animals to consume or for people to consume later? There's no common sense to it. So we need to spread information. We need to call out politicians for pushing this, just like we called out the politicians for pushing, big pharma. Big ag is the same way. So, by the way, there are tons of lawsuits out there and tons of science that supports you having the freedom to choose what's best for you, your family, your friends, and your loved ones. So listen, I'm telling you, glyphosate, no bueno. Atrazine, no bueno. And the myth that they're telling you that if we don't add these compounds to our food supply, then we're going to have lower yields. Farmers are going to make less money. Food's going to cost more, and it's ultimately going to hurt you and your pocket. That's just not true. We have plenty of opportunities for real, sustainable, natural farm that we can bring back the soil. We can bring back the bacteria. We can bring back the normal colonies of the good microflora that we're supposed to be ingesting every day from the fruits and vegetables that come from the regions that we live in. We have the ability to do that. And I'm going to tell you that we have the responsibility as adults to educate our children, educate our colleagues, and talk to our politicians about taking action of removing these unnecessary measures, and find out how many of those politicians truly are in the checkbooks of big ag, big pharma, and et cetera. I always said that politicians should wear their sponsors on their jackets, just like a NASCAR racer does, have a better idea of what their agenda is at that point. So listen, I think this is a conversation you need to be having with your family, your friends, and your loved ones. I think you need to be spreading this with folks around. Share this, tag people on it, like it, share it, save it. Make sure that everybody, understands this. Go to our website. That's peptalk.world, peptalk.world. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go back and re-watch this. Take some notes on it and take some action. Remember, knowledge is power, but wisdom is taking that knowledge and applying it to your life. So folks, until we meet again, I'm Dr. Eric Naputi. God bless you. God bless America, and God bless the world. Stay smart out there, and I'll see you soon. Be well.